Welcome guys! Today we are going to make a print using these bad boys. Woo! Poppers. So I've got pineapple burst popper, golden circle, pineapple burst and golden pash is my jam. Those two I quite like, a bit of pineapple or golden pash. I tried the old pine mango, didn't really like it. So I've got the popper and the larger 1 litre bottles, and we're going to do a tetrapak print. I think that's what we call it here. I've only really watched videos from America and they call these tetrapaks. So they call them tetrapaks. Basically anything with like a silver lining that holds liquid. So like our long life milk works too, but we don't really use long life milk, whereas I quite like a popper. But I got a couple of bigger bottles because I wanted to try some bigger prints. I drink it anyway, so it doesn't really matter. It's not like it's extra wastage. So a couple of the poppers have been taken by Robbie, my dog, who has decided to rip them up and redecorate the lounge room, as you do. This is a real fun way to reduce waste, especially if you're already using these stuff anyway, like I am. The things we're going to need are these poppers or the larger ones, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to cut them up. They are going to become our printing plates, so it's actually really cool. We're going to use Aqua Intaglio ink. Now I quite regularly use, I don't have any on my table, but I quite regularly use relief printing ink, the Safe Wash stuff by Caligo. You need to get the specifically etching ink if you want to do that. I am not keen on spending the big bucks on ink if I'm not sure, but I bought this stuff ages ago because I wanted to try doing some other types of mono printing, and it's a really good, it's water-based. So I got it a while ago, so I'm pretty lucky that I already had it. So I'm going to use it today. A lot of people use it. You'll need things like paper, especially around applying the ink. We need some sort of like a really solid cardboard, and I'm actually going to use a bit of an offcut of one of the poppers. And you also need, a lot of people use this, it's called scrim they use, and basically it's a cloth, it's like a cheesecloth they use to polish back the plate. I don't have scrim. I've got these rolls of cloth. They're just a roll of cloths, washing cloths. These live in my, this roll lives in my, in my studio, so I don't mix it up with my kitchen supply. We're also going to need scissors and a knife. This is such a fun way to use materials that are going to end up in the bin, and potentially you can sell, I could sell these, like they're not going to be low quality prints, it's just a different way to do them. You'll also need paper to print on. I don't have any proper printmaking paper, so I'm going to have a play around with some different types. I'm going to try cartridge paper. So they actually say with the printmaking papers to use them wet, so you soak them in water for a little bit and then blot the paper, because that helps pick up the ink. So I'm going to have a play around with, I can't do that with cartridge paper, it will literally just fall apart, but I'm wondering if maybe watercolor paper, I don't know, we'll see. So I'll put you down. Let's have a look how I prepare my juice cartons. Okay, so here are all my juice cartons. You can see on this one, I kind of cut the top open. That's kind of my first step. So I want to show you how to do it. This one I've actually washed. I try to wash them. I don't think I've actually washed these three. That's why the straws are still in them. But I'll just show you with this one, and I've got a couple already prepped and washed. I did wash this one this morning. It's actually still got water in it, I think. So I literally just pull up, there's these little flaps. As a kid, I used to eat these. I have these frozen. Mum used to get these, put them in the freezer, and during summer we'd get them frozen, and sometimes she'd cut them in half, but other times you kind of just cut the top off and just get a spoon and eat them. Oh, so good, so good. Good kid memories. So I'm literally going to cut those flaps off. So I just get my scissors, choppy chop, choppy chop chop chop, like that. And now you can kind of see like the top bit, there's a gap there. So I literally will cut along there like that, and that just opens it, and you can see the silver, that's what makes it Tetra Pak. I might cut down the side first. The side I cut down is the one where the plastic of the straw is, because there is a seam there and I'm not keen on having that seam as part of my print. And the stuff that the straw plastic is attached with is sometimes a little bit hard to get off, so I literally am just going to cut down the side like this. I might even cut into the bottom. Because this is really stuck down on the bottom, it's easier to cut down and then you can cut the bottom away. So I'm going to cut along to get rid of the bottom. I want to stay as close to the bottom because I want as much plate as I can manage. Oh, I can still smell the juice. Maybe I didn't wash it that well. You can always, at this point, I'm actually going to cut that whole front panel off. Just cut along there. So you can see, over this side, we've got a plate. And actually, I'm just going to cut the bottom. And I'm going to finish cutting that front panel off. I don't want any of that front panel because there's still that glue, which affects, that glue affects the print. So those bits I'm just going to pop over there. I'm going to probably use some of this bottom for applying the ink, and here is our plate. So any marks on here will come out. If you even just put a fine scratch, that's a chance for the ink to attach. It will hold ink that will come out in the final print. So there's a couple of things I'm gonna try using a pen, actually drawing, because I just want to indent it. I don't necessarily want to cut it. The other tool I've got here for it is an awl. I use this for my bookbinding. I poke holes. It is quite sharp, so if I'm going to use this, I need to make sure I'm either really soft or I do this for the areas that I want to actually cut in. When you cut it, so if this actually cut a line, all that means is it'll hold more ink, so it'll be darker kind of thing, I think is the concept behind it. I'm also going to be using my knife. I'm actually going to see if I can find, I have a smaller, just like a light scalpel, which I think is going to be easier to use than this chunky mama. I'm going to see if I can find it, because we're going to also cut away some areas. So I think I'll just get into it. I'm going to start with my pen, because I'm just going to make a thicker line. I'm going to have a play around. We're going to do a few blocks together. I've got some reference pictures I've printed out. I've been using this website called Wiki Commons, and it's got royalty-free, or yeah, royalty-free photos essentially. But even these lines here are going to come out because they're folded and they're creased. Some people actually scrunch it up and make some really cool crease marks. I'm not going to worry about that just now. I've got, I know it's shocking to you all, but I've got a 40 spotted Pardalote here that I'm going to, oh, that looks nothing like it. Doesn't matter. I'll have to wipe it down the pen lines. These are really quite light marks I'm making. So yes, they're going to come out in the final, but what I'm hoping is potentially that they might be, they're just going to be super light. So one thing I did with these photos is I actually printed them off super small, because I want to try and be a bit more loose and expressive and not get bogged down in small details. Now I'm going to actually clean off this ink I've got on there. That's kind of my initial drawing. Cool. I think with the pen you've got to push harder, but then you also need to wash off that ink, otherwise it's going to be in your final print. So I'm actually going in with this pen and actually pressing a little harder now. I'm actually going to make this beak a lot smaller. Okay, so one thing I did notice is that this actually doesn't cut the Tetrapak as easily as I thought it would. So yeah, I've just been using this to really scratch in. The pen kind of gives a wider mark, so I'm actually going to put the pen here so that I can get this to be a lot darker, and I'm hoping all of these marks kind of layer up. And if I do happen to cut the Tetrapak, it doesn't really matter. We're going to actually cut the Tetrapak in a minute here anyway. So I'm actually going to cut away some areas so that they're pure black. Now I can't find my little, whatchamacallit, scalpel. So I'm going to have to use this and go really carefully. So the first bit I'm going to cut out is the eye, which is circular, which I'm going to really find really hard because I want that to be black. So I'm just going to go really slow, and I don't want to go the whole way through because I only want to take that top waterproof layer off. So then I'm going to use my little awl because I just want to take up just that top layer. There you go. So you can see it peels up and it reveals the cardboard underneath. So that little eye bit will be pure black. I want to take a little bit under the beak because I want it to be really quite black, and some of these darker areas is really nice contrast to the rest of it. So I'm going to cut this a small bit out from the bottom of the beak. So it kind of looks really odd and you probably can't even see much. I'm also going to cut the wing and some of this tail. I might actually cut the tail in sections. I want to add interest. I don't just want it to be a big black slab. Anyway, so I've got the wing's going to be hard because I've got these little circles on the wing that I want to be white. So I've actually got to cut around them, and then instead of like the eye where I got rid of the circle, I want to leave the circle but get rid of everything around it. So I don't know, this might be disastrous. Okay, I think I'm ready to remove it. I think one of these dots I might lose in this. Geez, going around circles is so hard. So if you're going to do this, make sure you don't do it on little tiny areas like this. Do it on large areas because it's so much easier. All right, here we go. So I'm going to go so slow especially when I come to the my dots, because I just need them. I don't want it all to come up. Oh, I think it's working. Oh, is it? No, it's not. Ah. Now, if these come up, I could always glue them back down too. Like, that's not a massive issue. And I'm just using my awl to really make sure that those circles don't start coming up, because I think that would jeopardize their integrity in the print. So it's only really that first one. That's cool. So I got those dots, so because they stayed there. Yeah, see how I've got those shiny dots there? Those I'll be able to polish back so that it's just the white of the paper for that one. Yeah, cool. I don't know whether maybe I should just, I want to keep going a little bit. Just gonna get rid of some of that ink as well. Oh, I knocked off a circle. Oh well. Oh, I lost one of them. It's here. I could glue it down, but I think that might just be a touch too fiddly for my liking. Or do I? Let's try it. Let's try it. I've just got a glue stick. I'm going to try it. Oh no, I'll see. That might work. I will have to wait until the glue completely dries before I can print it. But anyway, I'm going to keep going. I think that's pretty well right. Now, because I've got the dot that is now missing. Uh-oh, I lost the dot. Oh well, I think the dot's gone for good. The dot that I reattached. I'm going to do a couple more of these. I'm going to speed them up. And I'm going to do a couple of prints all at once. I want to do one of the larger ones. The seam goes down the side here, but I kind of want to save as much. So whereas this one I took a whole panel out, this one I'm only going to take a slither of that front panel. So I'm going to do it similar. Pull these side bits up. Cut them off. Now, some people leave the flaps. So where I cut it here, so if I cut it, so I cut it along there, they'll actually leave that flap there. I'm not sure how I feel about it. I'm going to get rid of this one because it's got the little nozzly thing on. And then, I don't know, people, let's just, I'm going to try to cut into the bottom with my scalpel and see, because I can see where that's overlapped. So I'm going to actually just go, oh, yep. Okay, so I've just opened the bottom there like this. I will get rid of some of this because, I don't know, see where it's overlapped here, it will, I don't know, it'll hold ink. So I'm not sure what to do there. I'm going to just cut it up the corner here. Yeah, so I've seen a lot of people leave these flaps. I think I'm going to get rid of the flaps. I'm not a big fan. I'm going to get rid of a little bit more here because there's the overlap. So I actually might get... Nah, just cut it by scissors, Courtney. Cut them by scissors. Just trimming a little bit more off where that folds, where the folds were. So this is a much bigger area. So these smaller ones, they're fine for little tiny things like this, but this is, I'm a bit worried about how I'm going to print this, because my major concern is I don't have a press to go through. I don't even have a proper Dubalacquery one, which I don't think works particularly well. So I'm going to be hand varnishing this, which is going to take ages. This little one, I've seen people turn a pasta machine into a press. I do have a pasta machine, and it is in here in my shed with me. I just don't know if I've got all the stuff to be able to do that, but I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to pick a different animal. I'm wondering if I do a Corroboree frog and do it like this. Okay, so I've decided for this big one, I'm actually going to do a southern Corroboree frog, which is this really striking frog that's yellow and black. So yeah, I'm going to do it. I'll speed this up for you because you can barely see what I'm doing anyway. have a go at printing these. I've got some old scabby scrap paper for me to ink up my plate on. I've got my ink. I've got a tooth, this one's broken, so I've just been using it for paint type applications. People use the toothbrush to work the ink into all the nooks and crannies. I've got a couple of little bits of cardboard to scrape on the ink. I'm gonna prep the plate on this, then remove the piece of paper and do the printing on this. This is just my cutting board with some scrap paper over the top just to protect it a bit, keep my workspace rather clean and tidy. Lots of people use gloves for this. Maybe I should. But I'll have my cloth with my wet cloth there to wipe my hands. I'm going to try a couple of different types of paper. I've got this, which is like, it's a cardstock. I have had it since my like card making days. So it's acid free, it's all that good stuff. Thought I'd try it. Thought I might try cartridge paper and watercolor paper. I haven't got a tub to soak the paper in, but I do have a water bottle here that I'm going to spritz and then dab down with my cloth to get rid of the excess water. So that's kind of the plan. And I think I'm just going to get stuck into it. I'm going to start with the smaller one, just because I can. Oh no, it's thick. Why is it so thick? So the ink's not meant to be this thick. Whenever I've seen people use this ink, it's meant to be really runny. Now, yeah, okay, I've had this for maybe 6 months, but I don't think it's meant to be this thick. I think it's, obviously the seal of that wasn't great, and I reckon it's dried out a little bit. But anyway, all these little tiny bits of card aren't very useful. I think you need a larger bit. I'm going to try this little wedge. This might be better. Oh yeah, it's a bit better. It's a bit more stiffer. Yeah, look how chunky that. Oh, anyway, we'll see how we go. This is why people wear gloves. So at this point, I'm going to use my toothbrush and really get that worked in to all the areas. Just being careful. I don't want to rip off those dots or anything. But this pushes the ink into all of those lines that I've done, and there's some really fine lines. So this is something else people do, is they use this to get the excess off. I don't know if this is the right thing or not. The ink's kind of thrown me a bit here. Okay, it is working. It takes a while, so I'll speed this up. In a minute you'll see me start with the cloth. I'm just going to take off a lot of this excess as much as I can with this. I've kind of gotten a lot of that excess ink off, and I'm now just polishing the plate so that I have some real white bits. Now, if I was a bit more prepared, I would have actually gone to get some earbuds, cotton buds, whatever you call them, you know, for your ear, Q-tips, whatever you want to call them, and they are really great for polishing smaller areas. I've got to be so careful. Like, I think just there I've rubbed out some of the ink out of the actual etching. Look at my hands are so dirty. So you can kind of also like use this to scratch some back. I don't know, this is my first time. I'm just gonna actually leave it like that. I know the background will be quite dirty. I think it'll be all right. This might end out disastrous. Here's my paper. I'm gonna just spray it over here. just blot that so it's wet but not drenched. You don't want it shiny. This paper's a bit odd. Anyway, I don't want to blot it too much because it's already not coping with the water. So I'm going to place it down. Oh, look, my hands are filthy. And I'm just going to really try to get the best I can. I'm guessing proper printmaking paper would help. That's really bad. So I'm going to do it again. I'm going to ink up my plate again. And this time I'm going to use watercolor paper. And I'm going to spend a lot longer, you know, using this on the back of it. Righto, let's, I suppose I keep going. I think there's still some on here. I might actually, instead of using the cardboard, I might just use this. So I've got just watercolor paper that I've not soaked in water, but I've put some water. It's just a scrap piece of cut because I just want to work out if I can actually do this without a press. I'm thinking you need a press. And this paper's really soaked, so I don't even really want to, I don't want to rub this back with my glass muller. Just have a little peek. No, it's just not turning out. I feel like I think you need a press. Oh, it just moved then to, I've seen people do it without a press. I don't know. I might need to have a little break and just come back to this. I don't know exactly best way forward. Okay, I've got here a piece of cartridge paper and I'm just going to try placing it down, and instead of using the flat side, I'm actually going to use this side because I think it just needs lots of pressure. And I know I've seen people do this with a spoon, and I think that provides a lot more pressure on the back. Just hoping the paper's not moving too much. Just want to see how this top's coming out. Oh, it's looking heaps better. That's cool. Okay, so that's the trick. If you don't have a press, you need lots of pressure somehow. Oh yes, look at that. That's so much better. I'm actually wondering if I get a spoon. It might be a bit better than that even. That is actually really cool. So the cartridge paper is actually working really well. The reason I was using the watercolor paper and stuff is because lots of people say that the water, when you wet the paper, it helps draw the ink out. I actually think that's been pretty good actually. I have no idea how to clean this plate, but I am exhausted after that one print. So I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm actually not going to do the frog today because I feel like I need to have a better setup. This one is actually very cool though. You can see, look at it. It's actually very cool. I love how you can see each individual line. The only issue with doing it this way is I think it has moved ever so slightly down the bottom here. But you know what? I kind of love that imperfection. That's really cool. So the cartridge paper works well. You need super high pressure, so you want concentrated. If you don't have a press or a spoon will do the trick as well. If you want to see how my frog turns out, because I'm not going to do it today, I will post a short. So make sure you're subscribed so that you see when that short comes up, and I will for sure show you how it turns out. But thank you for joining me. It's been a messy pleasure and I've loved it. Okay, bye.